Alex Answer here. It is the morning of December 25th in the year 2017. So I'll be talking about kind of the reality that people in my position are facing on social media with the changes that we've seen in the last year. And where those of us involved in independent media production, regardless of the politics, have found ourselves buried by the algorithms, reaching less people than ever, especially if we're in the controversial bracket, if you will, box, if you will. So, one of the questions is, how do we survive, right? How do we survive? How are we going to survive this? But of course, the answer to that is up to the individual, because there are people that are putting out different types of content on the internet. There are people out there with different moral compasses. So, how someone else, I guess, survives, and that's very arbitrary, that's very relative. Like, what does that even mean? What it means for me is different than, say, what it means for somebody else who's spending a extravagant amount, say, on a studio, for example, every month, or others. I am fortunate to a certain degree that I do have the freedoms that I'm able to enjoy, and that I don't have, I guess, the responsibility of a family per se, that I have the time and space to focus on my passion. Hobby is not a word that I would describe it, something that's still in evolution. Absolutely. And it's what I started with outside the box back in 2004, 2005. But I always felt I was different than other people in this world, than my parents. And I felt that it caused me, and still causes me, a lot of problems in this lifetime. So, what I want to talk about is moving forward into 2018. This is already an interesting time of year, an intense time of year. I don't have to deal with the drama that some people have to deal with. They're dealing with a lot of people, and a lot of food being cooked, and a lot of. I remember being a kid, though. Those large bags, of course, to put the Christmas wrapping in, all the trash in those large, big black garbage sacks. So there's some good memories there. But I'm definitely grateful if this is a year that I have to deal with a whole lot of Christmas music, or um, holiday marketing, if you will. I don't have a TV on, that's just randomly going on in the background. Um, the last time I was at a mall, per se, that was when I traveled to California, and that was pretty brief. And they already had the holiday stuff out there then. And then, of course, yes, did some walking a few weeks ago at one of the next towns over. Saw some of their holiday displays. Instinctively, mankind is driven when there's less light to use more electricity during this period. As beautiful as they are, the Christmas lights are an expression of that. Increased spending, right? The spending of money during the particular period. Something instinctual about it, and maybe people doing more of that when they're separated, families separated by great distances. I guess Bitcoin was a major surprise tech stocking stuffer, right? It's made its way into the hands of many now new Bitcoin holders. Congratulations to them. May it make them prosperous and not make them go mad. It is like something from The Ring. Be careful when you put the ring of potential power on. it's how you use the ring, maybe not necessarily the ring itself or the Bitcoin. And for me, every holiday season is about making it through the holiday season and making it through the next year. And so that's more of a personal thing. That's not here for YouTube. That's not here for to go into that for hours and hours. But I know I'm not alone in this. I know there's a lot of other people out there that go through this every year. And the last few holiday seasons, I've dealt with some really strange behavior from others. usually within a few days of Christmas or Christmas Eve, as I recall writing about earlier. Actually, there was someone that I barely knew. I think she was a listener or viewer of this channel, named Natalie. And all of a sudden, this pressure came all of a sudden on Christmas Eve to call her. And I don't do that. I don't go out and about, da 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 da. I live a very quiet life. I don't call random people on the telephone. I do what I do here, and that is it. And I think she was a viewer from way back when, got married, did the whole thing, and then all of a sudden just like applying this pressure. And it was on Christmas Eve specifically. And I say this because others are going through similar things, and it's never okay. The holidays is the one time in which we should be chill with each other. So let's say that you're used to arguing with people about politics on Facebook, at the very least, right? Or being really reactive and upset. There's something about this time of year that might even bring out the internet addiction. You need to get on the internet, need to get near this artificial light, need to get this stimulus with what's going on YouTube and what's going on in the world and what happened with, well, I guess now it'd be Trump and what's happening with this. And what I'm not doing is taking in too much news and information. You'd be like, well, Alex, how can you say that? You just did a couple of videos on Bitcoin. Well, yeah. And I'll tell you what, something like that does need to be discussed because whether you're into Bitcoin or not into Bitcoin or pro Bitcoin or anti Bitcoin or you don't know about Bitcoin, it's a driving topic because money and the future of money, the future of governments, the future of society, the future of technology, these are cutting edge topics, right? And our world of tomorrow, the children that are going to inherit the world that we live leave behind. I don't have children, but have I said for over a decade that we have a karmic connection to past generations, and that past generations have a karmic connection to us, or that we have a karmic connection to future generations? Yes, we do. Therefore, what we do here matters, and it relates to where we go beyond this world. A lot of people rush to religion when they get scared, when they see the writing on the wall. And they may scream out the name of Jesus, but they may not necessarily look for deeper spiritual realities or truths that Jesus may have spoken about, or others like Jesus have spoken about or are speaking about. And the world today likes to downplay spiritual truths and likes to manipulate with its own perspective and programming what is valuable and what is considered trash. So that's the situation that the world is dealing with. A lot of confusion. A lot of confusion. What is valuable? What is something that probably should be left behind? And the addiction to consumerism is something that needs to be left behind for a lot of us to grow. So, yeah, um, it's a difficult time of year for many, many people. It's also a time of year that attacks manifest, including spiritual attacks. Now, I'm not going to repeat the things that a young lady was sharing in her video, but she's been making videos for about a year on YouTube, and she has been discussing a certain number of spiritual attacks upon her person, extreme violations of her body, if you will, and all of a sudden they're coming around this particular period, and I do think that some people could be targeted by their bloodline. I absolutely do, by these entities, whatever you choose to call them. There seems to be a consensus out there that something's going on. And so right now, I'm shifting up a lot of things. And I'll be making videos in 2018. I will also continue uploading some videos to the on-demand channel in 2018. Okay, so that is TBA, to be announced. Going to be expanding my commentary on the geopolitical situation, what I call this upcoming stage war with China, and citing more documentation and news reports, and producing a series of shorter reports. Now, all of this work and production, right, will be quite taxing. It's a lot easier to just right now hit record and just do audio. But there's going to be a lot more focus that I'm going to need to apply. And it's going to take some time to take things where I want them to be, here on YouTube, on my other platform, at the website. I'd like to see the forum grow over time. I'm still not very familiar with it. So I think I need to get interested and see, like, while other people are investing their energy in a Bitcoin, and that's fine. And they're saying this is going to mean something. Right, as long as the grid is up. And as long as the grid is up, though, whatever I'm building here with my video series and maybe other things, that's valuable to me. And by reaching people um, year after year and covering different topics, I'm reaching many different people around the planet. People get attracted to the information, usually become offended by the information after a few months, and the cycle repeats without break over the period of many, many years. And a person like me, you get used to some of it. Feeling like you're different than the rest of the world, though, that never really gets old. You kind of get used to it, but it never really gets old. Being an outside-the-box thinker where, it's going to attract people and also repel a great number of people and listeners when they will stumble upon the information that they don't like or don't understand or misunderstand. Would I consider this almost overwhelming at times, though, because I also chose to talk about the archons and spiritual warfare, which can put a guy up on the radar and bring interference energies. I don't regret it, but it comes with interference energies that most humans can't deal with. And the interference energies can be at times so strong and so deceptive that it can affect some people to the degree that they do walk away from just their platform. Once someone has their sleep interrupted for a prolonged period of time, I've chosen to not air what I struggle with on my side of the fence. So people just assume that, well, if Alex isn't talking about everything must be fine. And so the view from the audience perspective is, with all due respect, far removed from reality unless it's being shared. I don't think all people are psychic. I think there are some people that assume that they're psychic, that in fact, though, are working with information that is not very accurate. And they run around guessing things where they're not being very accurate about what they're guessing. And I think that a lot of people can be influenced, even my own audience members. We talked about this earlier in the year, to eventually, over a time, turn to the opposite. From, wow, this is great, to, Alex must pay. Alex must fall. And it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens periodically throughout the year. Channel through someone or something. And that can lead on my end to fears about the future, fears of death, being harmed, being victimized. And then it's back to this loop. And it's all more this psychic attack energy where humans are mere pawns in a much larger matrix. So I'm in a precarious position to where I do feel like I'm perceiving how they are attacking humanity. Here's the problem. I feel like speaking about what they're doing to us, you, others, puts me on a radar, and even at times isolates me from humanity. I mean, those topics, just so you understand, are considered the product of a schizophrenic. You know, I picture all the amount of times that I may have sent someone my website that I've never heard from them again. And I wondered, what was it? What was it about alexansary.tv that was just so over the top that they never spoke to me again? Was it that little video on rotation, that section where it says mainstream media boosting fear of Muslims and those feared to be Muslim? Would it be archonic mind control, hijack of relationships, lust being used to control men? Would it be, and of course I know it was, so I took that at rotation, on why aren't there more women protesting the gang rapes of prisoner of wars in the Middle East? Why isn't there more support for what men like me are trying to bring to the greater awareness? Why is there resentment? Why are there people trying to distract from our mission here on the planet? I've struggled with that for over a decade. Over a decade. Right now, they got this Me Too thing in the news about sexual harassment. And but what about the good men that don't do that to women? What about the good men that will put their lives on the line to defend women from other men that would do those things? Or to use their voice in their lifetime to try to bring correction to this world of out of balance? You won't find a single article about me anywhere on the internet recognizing me as a good man that draws awareness. I can feel your laughter, and that is sick. There aren't very many men in the alternative media that talk about the future of women living in America under occupation. I don't know of any. Do you? Are you one of them? It isn't some sort of a game, what I'm discussing and what I see coming to this country within my lifetime and potentially within a decade. This isn't a game. It's not an hallucination. Nor is the future something that is inherently harmful. So, I don't want to go down that road. I'm going to get back into specifics, though, in a future video, what I see coming to America and echo, but really not just echoing what I've said before. We can look at the things that are in the news right now as confirmations that we are on a particular path, bringing me back to what I was saying before. I know I've shared a lot about my personal feelings about living within this matrix or reality or this lifetime of lifetimes. And that loses some people that are on that level. But when it comes to news and information, and there are people that aren't even on that level, but that's too bad. I've been at the forefront of covering how our own government has sold us down the river to nations like China, which they helped build up for over a decade. And this is no time to turn away. We're going to see more reports of these types of even drills between the United States and China on U.S. soil. There was a period in time in which that would have freaked people out. There was a period in time in which people were freaked out about Chinese troops that weren't even there at the border of Mexico. You can thank people like Stephen Quayle. You can thank others in the alternative media that literally recycled fake news from the old school about a Chinese invasion around 2000 that never ever happened. But why would they do that? You see, there's a role for me, even if it's not understood today, within the independent media to call bullshit. Some of you can pick up on that, and some of you do not. There has to be those amongst us that were alive today that said, bullshit! That is a lie, but that is something to be concerned about. Why are you guys falling for a lie and ignoring the actual article over there about what is true? I don't mean you guys, but I'm talking like society in general. Now, we're 20 minutes in this podcast, but the most basic stuff that hasn't been mentioned yet, and I'm going to process through this because this is something that can be answered right away. And the answer to the question doesn't go away. How do I move forward? How do we move forward in light of this censorship and massive demonetization on YouTube, massive reduction of income to where I'm making basically half of what I was doing last year? Now, I'm going to move forward, though, with a positive attitude to the best of my ability because I know it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. I'd like to see things turn around on that end. I'd like to see things turn around on another end, even within society and even audience engagement to a certain degree and certain exchanges with other spirits, other humans, being more positive in the upcoming epoch or period. Some people think that this is, 2012 aside, but that we're living in a larger bubble of a cycle that runs from the 1980s to the 1990s to 2000s, 2012, going into 2017, 18, 19. And, I do follow the solar cycles. We are going in a shift from solar maximum to solar minimum. Some people don't define these periods with the exact same language. I realize that. Solar maximum I use to define a period in which there are more sunspots and we're at the peak or the maximum end of the cycle, followed by a dip down. And here we are, we're passing through a new moon, a December 21st winter solstice. I believe that there was an asteroid flyby very recently, and there was also a geomagnetic storm. So those are several factors. Those are several factors literally um, intersecting during this holiday season. What I was concerned about happening is happening. People are being inundated with World War III news and they're just shutting down. We'd rather believe that it's all propaganda. And I think that that's a little bit dangerous. There are propagandists on YouTube that use hashtag World War III and talk about North Korea. I've done this. And I don't want to attack him or any particular person. I am saddened for humanity that these are some of the most watched individuals on YouTube. Because then it's not so much about them, it's about what people want to hear. It's about people being uh, lied to but enjoying it. Furthermore, like it's one of those scenes of quote unquote the British invasion of the '60s where the Beatles come out and the girls are screaming, ah, like it's like some people like they're literally hot to their audience because they lie so well, and they'll do it over and over and over. And they'll literally raise $25,000. I can't even imagine raising $1,000 for a fundraiser. I recognize those that have donated. I don't have a GoFundMe at all at the moment. But somebody like me can do a lot more with less, to keep it simple, than what I see other people doing with $100,000. That's all I'm saying. I think that the money could be used in a more mindful manner. I'd like to have hope that I'll see more alternative media from other humans in the future, whether it be off grid, alternative media, whether it be people reporting the real news outside the left right paradigm in some sort of a house in the city, whether it be in Portland, Los Angeles, somewhere in Florida, New York. We need to see more alternative media out of these city folks. You see, even though the cost of living sucks in some areas, people can still bust their hump, work in a job, and still make time for alternative media. I've done that in my earlier years. I've done that quite a bit. Now, at this stage of my life, living off the grid, living with less, and bringing in only a few hundred every month, I need to take how I'm going to personally move things forward. Because for me, it's not just how do I survive? How do I survive? How do I continue going down the rabbit hole with the information and turn the page to the next level of information? And that would be new investigations. In the future, it would be great to travel and do a documentary film, but that needs to be planned out. I think I recognize that more now than ever. Sometimes it does work out. You just grab a pack and you just get on the bus. Sometimes it doesn't. It's Russian roulette, but you're playing with your travel investment. Um, there is a Patreon page, and I see that a $30 contribution came in. So thank you. Yeah, again, from the person that I visited in California. So I appreciate that. For this holiday season, no, I did not go forward with putting up a Litecoin or a Bitcoin wallet to even receive donations. And I wish you all luck with your endeavors with Bitcoin, now hovering at about 13.4. We shouldn't need to fight about cryptocurrency like it's politics. I'm going to share my view that it was the honey to get the world into the idea of cryptocurrency, and the nations follow. I don't think it's an accident what you're going to see from here on out. So it was a great thing. Awesome, right? Awesome. Till they incorporated it and da da da. So it would have been a great thing. So, but why was it allowed to go on as long as it did? Get the interest. Now you have the news writing about it. Now we have people lying, seeing that the news is criticizing Bitcoin. I see headlines telling people how to get involved. And the things that are somewhat critical, those look like facts to me. That doesn't look like propaganda. They're reminding people that it's a risk. They're letting people know, hey, you probably shouldn't mortgage your home. Is that bad or something? Oh, is that propaganda? And I don't see the Federal Reserve denouncing it. They're recognizing it as a speculative asset, in quote from Janet Yellen, and FedCoin is set to follow Bitcoin. Isn't that interesting? Because the FBI for many years held on to Bitcoin. They had a massive reserve holding of Bitcoin. Why? The idea of Bitcoin was that it was anonymous and easy transactions. Both of those have changed. We have proponents of Bitcoin say it's actually horrible for criminals because there is no hiding from the government. We look at Russia. Russia is a proponent of Bitcoin, and they are looking to tax Bitcoin. And so we can see different nation states getting ready to adopt the model of cryptocurrency. And I think that we can have probably, if they set a standard, they can easily set a global standard, global economic standard for cryptocurrencies. And they all can kind of interlock. Like, you look at the image here where it's like the Matrix and, the man standing behind the light, before he goes into the grid or standing outside the grid. You could look at it either way. Spirit looking at the grid, or the grid sucking in man, or man waking up within the grid. You look at what's going on around him and all those different moving images. See, they create a system where all these different national currencies and corporations, that's right. See, that's what's interesting. Now, all these corporations, global world corporations, are starting small with their own cryptocurrencies. They all got wind of something. Now, for the others on YouTube, they're acting like they have insider trading from their handlers or knowledge, insider knowledge. Maybe whoever gave them 100 Bitcoin or 1,000 Bitcoin as payoff and said, you'll thank me later. Just keep doing your propaganda for us. Let's just run it through this way so it won't be tracked. So they think. Who knows? Maybe they'll be outed later without even realizing that their handlers didn't even have their back. I think some people do sweat late into the night about being exposed. And I'm just speaking broadly about certain people in general that aren't who they say they are. They are amongst us here in our own government and here in not just the mainstream media, but the alternative media. And it isn't necessarily what people think. And again, what people often think is that CIA is over here, Russia's over here. There's no back and forth. There's no double, triple agents anymore. Oh no, they're really at war with each other. Their conspiracy theories don't make any sense. People seem to have really overlooked the realities of COINTELPRO. So today you have advanced COINTELPRO on the internet. And a person like me will have a difficulty reaching other people that may be distrustful of government and lovers of freedom because they're inundated with all this false news. So I'm going to try to sum up my thoughts here and feel free to just have a festive holiday season. For me, right, to be warm enough, to have enough food. I barely got home yesterday after driving to town because of the icy roads coming back up the hill. I appreciate things like that. I'm grateful for things that are so simple, including that, that break of sunlight that comes between 10 a.m. and maybe 3 p.m. And then, by the way, it gets dark by 4:30 or 5. So this is a period in which I know that is incredible. I get less light than other places, maybe at sea level, or maybe other places in Colorado, because of where I am, mountain range area. The sun is going down a lot quicker. And so that's something that a lot of people don't even understand. So in a big way, I feel like I'm living on another planet than a lot of you. I just had to remind myself how I can just go back though, reach out and touch me, just poke society, the grid real quick and run back, sick, hobbling back with a bust up piece of luggage. Like I'm over that. My back's okay. And I think my health is back up and we're moving into a new year. So it's not impossible. It's going to take way more focus to stay afloat economically on the most basic of levels. But also, it's more than that. It's more than that. I've barely even started to talk about it. It's hard. Um, it's sad to see what Facebook has done, where we're not even seeing people respond to our posts because they're not seeing them. And it is a coordinated hit. Now, I haven't taken the time to also read all the stuff going on that you guys maybe have or are reading about with net neutrality. And I know that there are two different positions based on politics, based on Trump's decision. And it's just down the line split. Um, you have people that are on the other side that are just cheering what he's doing, from the InfoWars camp and the AMTV camp and other camps, just everything is great. Trump's just there to help the people. So that narrative continues. And so there's a lot of confusion and of distortion, probably with regards to this whole thing regarding net neutrality and what's really going on. So I'm not even bothering to even worry about it or even think too hard about it because it's out of my hands. I'm already done with the blows that have been delivered to me from the last year. To go from being able to reach people at my .tv page, and I used to help somebody out with their website and their .tv page, and I can testify that a massive drop. And we're talking people that liked his content. Now, I may not like his content. You may not like my content. But if someone says, hey, I'm going to subscribe to this guy, either on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or whatever, or a newsletter, by God, you should know when I make a new video. So we're getting to this point where it's about private forums, the newsletters, reach you via newsletter. There's a link down below for you to sign up. And then, of course, I need to get back into doing that in 2018, letting you know when I do that because it often puts it in your spam folder, just to let you know, or your junk folder. You won't even see it, for example. It's not just me, it's other newsletters as well. So you need to interact with it. Say that it's not spam, and then it will send it to your inbox. I'm sure you've had this experience with other things in your junk folder, if email is not a new thing. So I just want to bring that up. So for those of you that are diehard regular viewers and you want to be updated of the new podcasts and you'd like to read some of the things that I put out there, this would enable you to do that. Probably one of the more important points for me to be passionate, to keep going, guys. I'm not getting any younger. I'm 37. Some could argue that's better just not be into this stuff, to talk about archons, just live a happy life. And I see value in that. Maybe I will do that at one point. But right now, I'm here to do and focus on particular subjects. to talk about certain things, to back up those podcasts, to back up those videos so that they can live forever. I feel a need to, a yearning to start working on a book. But see, if I do this, I don't want my information to end up disappear down a black hole. And right now, we're dealing with it's almost like a spiritual attack because that's our spirit in that work. If they want to erase this off, I can sit there and post and see that nobody's seen my YouTube post. If I post a YouTube link because Facebook and YouTube are in competition, that's why Facebook also has its own video uploading platform as well. Sure, we'll see YouTube links, but we'll also see Facebook bury a lot of those YouTube links. To the point where for several years, I would simply have to type out the text of, say, the title, throw up some description, and then point to the link over there. But maybe that would still be hurting. See, this is all messed up. This is all messed up. And I'm not attacking the audience or myself when I say that we, that's right, we, not me, not you, we have woken up to a reality where we have allowed social media to be the middleman, to allow you when I upload a video and for it to provide me the platform to reach you, where you subscribe to YouTube, not subscribe to the AlexHansery.tv newsletter or something else that I may have yet to develop. And I want to believe, folks, that it's not too late, that I'm not washed up, that I'm not too old, and that even at the age of 37, I'll be 38 soon. In the age of this demonetization, in the age of whatever fears are going off the internet, I don't want to feel like I'm going away. I want to go deeper into the thought. I want to return to my solar flare research and write an even better ebook. I want to write a series of books about a number of topics. I'm still waiting for my own major transformation in what I would call my own production output. I'm capable of a lot more. I want to use a greater percentage of my brain. I want my mind, body, and spirit to be centered for greater prolonged periods of time. Not just a moment in which I choose to sit down and meditate, eat right, exercise, pray, or write, or make a good video where I really put my time and energy into editing that and the presentation. But see, I want that. I want that mind, body, and spirit, that Zen space all day long, all night long. I want those dream invasions to be backed off and things that I don't talk about on YouTube. People don't even realize what I go through when they're just concerned about themselves, with all due respect. Sometimes when they hit me hard. Why? To take me away from my focus, to put me in a defensive mode, to put me spiritually on the run. I don't know how much more I want to describe to some of you what that is if you don't know what that is. But when you come up on the radar as a public speaker and you use the internet, things happen that people that aren't on the radar don't necessarily have empathy for. And it's hard. I have compassion. But it's hard when people don't necessarily know what that's like when you're the one up on the radar being blasted. I think some people assume those things don't happen. I truly do. Or that one person could come and change it all by saying positive thoughts. No. But the power of prayer, praying for someone, as opposed to attacking them. What if we were to pray for our opposed, and I don't want to use the word enemies, right? But people in that particular box. Why don't we do that this Christmas? Why don't we pray for those politicians, those things in this world that seek to oppress them? Just as simple that they will find the light, they will find their own way, that they will know free will. Those that seek to be the rulers of the earth, but also those that will run interference for those archons without even realizing it, whatever form they come. We will pray that they will find the enlightenment and healing that they are seeking, because it is within them. We will find others that will activate us. I have been activated by just mere senses, and I'm trying to reel myself back to this knowing that I need to reactivate to some higher senses if I'm reacting to some lower impulses. Because we do have an ability or a part of us that's connected with that non-local awareness. I believe that. But we can start interpreting certain things like a psychic attack when it may not be a psychic attack. We're just becoming super sensitive to certain things. There's an explosion right now this holiday season in videos where people are talking about spiritual attack because there's less light out. There's more people stirring up drama. There's more energy vampire activity across the board. There's actually one speaker who was talking about you start noticing the types of posts on social media, how energetically vampiric it is to get a comment, any type of comment. And I see this in a number of individuals, but I don't attack them when I see it, unless I feel they're trying to attack others. But even when I see them attacking others, I try to step back from trolling them at all. Why? Because I feel that it's wrong to troll. I feel like everyone has their right to their opinion on their own platform. And if I don't agree with it, I shouldn't be listening to it. And if I'm sitting there criticizing the other YouTuber too much, that's wrong. Because I need to focus on Alex Ansari's truth. That's what's right. But I do every now and then need to come out of the box and that other person start to see outside the box all the time. Now, outside the box, outside the box, outside the box. And there's a part of me that, you know, just want to stand up for the little guy and myself and even the rightful use of outside the box. I get upset when people use, even though I'm not religious, Jesus to promote politics. I see other people even using spirituality to promote their own agenda. And I think that it's wrong. So that's always going to be kind of who I am, a contrarian. When I come up upon these people, I don't necessarily need to call them out by name. I'm getting a little superstitious, but I'll study what's going on. And part of it is to also not be, right, like those victims in those videos that are talking about, um, for example, I look at my own life, or whether we're talking about that period of my past where I saw something in Alex Jones, which I'm not ashamed of, but I can see how I got out of like a cult-like way of thinking early on, before he started getting even racial with it. I see others that a cult-like aura about them, they weren't all public people on YouTube. We're talking about people before YouTube or outside of YouTube, right? Like the cult of personality, my mother's boyfriend in Portland. I worshipped him as a child like a demigod. I don't mean literally, but literally like the way a kid would look up at a superhero. Like, wow, can you beat Superman? Like, but in this case, it would be like Hulk Hogan. In this case, it would be like, Mike Tyson. But literally a kid really like, wow, you might be able to really, because and when we're little kids, sometimes we can look at some people like they really are the king of the world or a potential runner up, if you will. Hits that, scratches that archetype, little boy without a father looking up to something, a real man. As I grow older, there's still some positive things about him. I miss him, the father. More my father than my own father, the person I'm referring to. Now I'm reaching the point of forgiveness. He's just a man. Men do lie. Men do things to prop up their own ego. He's just a man. Why should I expect him to be perfect and full of morality? He was clearly a immoral person. So you could even say he was a little bit handicapped, like some would say mentally ill. He was clearly a person that didn't truly believe in karma. So certain people, when they're big and dangerous and they got a big brain, right? So they're able to manipulate people with their charisma to worshiping them. They just do what they think they're here to do, to be the top dog or man. And I'm here to do what I believe I'm here to do, is to tell men, hey, there's more to life than breaking faces. There's more to life than just impressing these women so you can get inside their pants, womanizing her and demonizing yourself. I believe in these values. I believe in what it is that I say. And I see the things that I'm speaking of as necessary for not only people of this generation to hear, but future. Complication is realizing that this voice, this message will only reach 100 people today or 200 people today. Maybe it's the way I tagged it. Maybe it's the algorithm. Maybe it's all the other content punishing me. Maybe there's no hope. Maybe we just gotta run. Oh my God. Maybe the solar flare is just gonna equalize all this electronic information and get a little Bitcoin too. But it hasn't happened yet. And I don't think that it's going to happen for at least a few years. This is like a digital tribulation, what I'm sitting in right now. It's a digital tribulation of some type. I don't mean that to be super religious, but this is like only the strong will survive. Only the honorable. I would like to think that only the honorable will receive the support, but also the dishonorable, the propagandist. And I'm not interested in raising like what they think they need, but I'd like to see myself do a little bit better than I have the last few years. I want to make a point of saying thank you to all those that have supported my work, even if you feel like the work now is something that you don't support. I go through cycles, I go through moments. I have my strong points, I have my weak points. I have my strong moments, rather. I have my weak moments. And this time of year is just brutal on me. And I don't even really feel normal till spring. This whole period is the dark ages to a certain degree. And I'm living at 8,000 feet and only now reading about the scientific effects of living at higher elevation. It's more than more red blood cells, folks. It's a drop in serotonin. And I don't believe in turning to pharmaceuticals to boost serotonin levels and other things that I could be deficient on. If I was to be in a lab and a psychologist were to hear my thoughts, the stuff they would try to prescribe to me. If a psychologist were to hear the things that I talk about on my channel, right? And I'm not about to let them poison my body just to boost a little serotonin. So you see, not a lot of people will ever do what I do when living off the grid. Part of it would have to do with biological changes. Less air in the, less oxygen in the air, less serotonin, other behavioral issues, including psychosis. Certain things take a hold of certain people and they're in isolation. Some of it's relating to isolation and elevation. Then you put someone in my situation where they're isolated full time in what you can call an icebox. It's only the strong will survive. I know a lot of you think I'm crazy and you listen for entertainment. There's also a lot of you that don't think I'm crazy. And it's evident also in your thumb ups. There's a lot of people that support the ideas that I'm sharing. Thank you to Rachel that sent me a nice message who lives with her husband in Oregon. She sent me a video. I always enjoy when people that have been watching my content, people like Mary, Rachel, that I've known for years. When did I meet Rachel? 5 years, accidentally at a gas station. Since then, it was just been, light email exchange, um, sharing of ideas. And so she said something in relation to my solar flare talk regarding the a pastor. And even though I'm not like a traditional Christian, but I'm open to the idea of the teachings of Christ and what some of these people believe, I'll sit down like I just did for an hour as I woke up. It's 5:25 now, but I get up about 2:30 or 3. That's because, like I said, I'm off the grid. I'm not even running a generator this winter to save money. I may turn on my car once in a while, but I decided it's not worth it. It's not worth it. What, for me to upload a few videos? I will upload this video early, right? But I don't need to be online just surfing and watching. But I just want to take that point. Also, Jordan, guy down in California, he sends me some sort of a 5-hour lecture. People here, I like lectures, and they like, well, what would be, oh, this is something that Alex would like. This is somebody at Alex's level. He would enjoy this. So I have now like 6 hours worth of lectures from two different people. A few people doing the most simplest of things or the most simplest of kindness can move mountains. I understand that people are busy, so that's cool. I have a friend, Angela's, who's a webmaster, and she helps me with my email stuff, and she helps me with my art and stuff behind the scenes in ways people don't understand on a technical nature because she's one of my best friends, or is my best friend. Going to be visiting here actually in a few months. The matter is just finding a cheap hotel for her to stay. She's not staying here on the property, but a cheap hotel, motel somewhere in town. I wish I had another option, so we're going to be looking into that. But it's going to be fun to have a guest. I think about the things that I'll be doing for the garden. I will be gardening, I think, more in 2018. Leading me, this is kind of something else I think I might close. I'm not going to go over an hour here. I'm basically somewhat snowed in after the recent snow. I mean, I can drive in and out, but the ice, it's not good to have that car on the ice. So I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more videos from here on out. I'll be taking things real light, right? Christmas into New Year's. But, there's something instinctual where a lot of us just launch into New Year's and our New Year's goals. My New Year's goal, just return to a video a day. Hit it and hit it hard. And talk about the things that I am passionate about. Just recenter, boom, take off like a rocket, back in the saddle again, type of a thing. And then taking the content, some of the ideas to the next level, reaching new people, growing the website, maybe growing the forum. You want to help test out the forum? We got a new forum option, alexansory.tv. Test out the new technology. And if the technology starts to act like it's going to then we shut the technology down. If it turns out to be a negative thing. But, we'll give it one more shot. The last dance. It might as well do the last dance while there is a grid. What's more important, the Bitcoin, right? Or real human beings being real human beings and evolving and using this technology for the greater good to help each other grow and develop new ideas. And that's me speaking, not other people. Help set us free from this matrix. Other people can state why it is that they do what they do. Some of them, they're like, we're revolting. Well, go ahead and have your revolution. I don't think you're really revolting against jack crap, AMTV and others. I'm over here at AATV, encouraging a mass exodus, a rescue of souls beyond this prison. What do we need to do to evolve beyond that? I'm not going to deviate from what it is that I'm here to do. And if the universe has dictated that it be full time, that my application's unfortunately not being answered, but it looks like transportation would be an issue in that little car. It's not like I'm driving a 4x4 like a man car. No, that's a little car. There are some icy, windy roads with no gate rail. Do you understand? For miles and miles between my home and, I mean, there's an actual life or death risk with some of the actual turns and curves. I did get chains, but my chains literally broke off on the side of my the front left side. I'm terrified to take this road and there's ice out at this point in that little car. I would definitely want to feel like a 4x4 or a truck or a Jeep or something. But what was the point of all that? Coming up probably by April or May. I think I'm just gonna plan this now because my internet company keeps me on a contract, so I've got to pay no matter what. But if you do take a time off, they call it hibernation. Something we all should consider. You know what I mean? A little bit of hibernation, break from the internet. Um, there's no need for me to be on the internet on a regular basis to do videos. I can communicate, do email, and get news once a week when I go to the library. So I'm going to be doing that probably around May because I think the snow thing could be an issue. I need to be like in a mindset of being able to stay on my property for a month at a time, if you will. Kind of just like last year, because there could be more snow coming. And if that's the case, I'm going to be here most of the winter. But when the snow melts and when the sun comes out, I'm going to focus more on writing full-time videos, or at least daily videos, hoping things will also economically improve. Got to get things above 200 a month, folks. 250 a month on YouTube. For as far as the YouTube AdSense, we need to start seeing the machine treat me a little bit better. It's burying us. So let's all just point our focus. You know, YouTube adpocalypse no more. Just restore things to where they were, and then everything is fine. And because I need less money per month to survive and make basic ends meet, I'm not pulling my hair out or as worried as other people. Job situation here looks a little scary, actually. I talked about that earlier in the year. So I'm going to have to actually do everything in my power to move things forward. Um, I think that for me, even having the internet is inhibiting me because I'm too exposed to the negativity that's brewing in the hearts of man and woman. And a lot of things I'm not talking to you about. There was a young girl of Middle Eastern origin that was basically beat down into the ground by a group of girls in Florida. I mean, do you really need to see that? Do you really want to see that? Probably not. Are we all affected, whether it's one group or another group being hurt and watching it literally on camera and watching people laugh as one person is taken out by 10? That's pretty traumatic. That's pretty traumatic. And what the video I saw was pretty traumatizing. And it's posted over at my Facebook page for those that are connected over there. There's a lot to reflect on. And we need to be careful also how much of that stuff we take in on the internet because it can fuck us up in ways other people don't understand. That didn't see that video or aren't feeling that type of empathy or aren't feeling the fear. It can fuck us up. There are other people feeling all types of fear as well, feeling that certain religions are soon going to be affecting their daughters' lives and affecting their particular neighborhood. And they're reacting to that and stimuli and stuff that they're seeing on the internet. People are reacting to stuff that they're reading about and consuming on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, but yet their real life might be different than what's manifesting on the internet. In some cases, it's not different, it's the same. And in that case, there's another reason or an argument for stepping back from the internet. What if our internet, our thoughts, and what we take in helps us or helps shape our perceptions in a negative way? So I appreciate if you're watching me on the internet and if you consider this help. There are things out there that I consider great that are on the internet. Written, audio, and video. By the way, I've been downloading lots of old school Coast to Coast from 2005 before the current George Norrie, not to insult him, but I think we all know what I'm getting at. The old Coast to Coast shows, including some of the old Art Bell shows, really got our imagination going about UFOs, non-human entities, the conspiracies, the Illuminati, and now it's gotten so watered down because things have really gotten exposed. So they really changed that show. So for me, I totally recognize the internet has great stuff on it. And I want to continue to put out great stuff on the internet that's going to help people spiritually. But there's stuff out there that can mess your mind up. And there's stuff out there that has clearly, to a certain degree, messed my mind up. And there's a certain amount of PTSD that we can take in from all of the chaos news. But to look away from it and to look away from our life path, to be someone that interprets what's going on, that's not something I can do. The audience, maybe they can do that because they're just watching my channel. I can't change for the audience. I won't make this a comedy channel. I won't make this a relationship channel. We won't make this an off-grid channel. This will continue into its 12th year to be the Alex Answering channel. With that, that will conclude this morning's podcast.